Fire detection and alarm system. Fire alarm system detect products and combustion such as smoke, aerosol participate, heat, and light, and provide early occupant notification to allow the safe egress of the occupants. This system uses various methods to detect the products of combustion, including the various heat and smoke detection techniques. They use audible and visual alarms to alert and warn building occupants of a fire. In short, ang fire alarm system in a home may be it is made up of several standalone units, di ba? And then the individual components such as smoke, heat or detectors, control panels, fire command and centers. Communication center is alarm horns. Speakers are included in larger structures in a fire alarm system. Mo ni siya. And then next is continued pala. In a residence, fire alarm system may be composed in a few standalone units. Di ba, sinasabi ko kanina, yun yung sinabi ko. In a large buildings are more sophisticated. They include in the individual components such as the smoke, yung sinabi ko kanina talaga, yung ano ba tawag nun? Nung heat detectors, control panels, fire command centers, communication centers, and alarm horns or speakers. And then the next is smoke alarm. A smoke alarm is a fire safety device that detects the product of combustion and gives off a audible or a visual warning to building occupants. So ang smoke alarm daw is a free safety device that detects the products of combustion, di ba? And alerts building occupants with an auditory or naga-warning siya. And it is a smoke detector and alarm in one unit. O naga-combine siya sa smoke detectors into one or a single device. Tama. And then they typically use an audible alarm signal to alert and warn building occupants of a fire. Smoke alarms are typically used in a single family homes, multi-family dwelling, and some instance, light commercial applications, ionization and photoelectric are the types of commercially available smoke detectors used in this application. So, ang smoke alarm daw ay kinaga-inform siya sa sa warden building. Sa tawag naman, inhabitants of a fire. They usually employ an auditory alarm signals. So, ang smoke alarm daw kay makita na to sa kasagaran sa mga single family homes or a huge or multi-family. And then, the light commercial applications, smoke detectors daw kay naga-utilize siya sa application are ionization, and photoelectric. Okay. A smoke detector is a sensing device that identify product combustion in air. Heat detectors are sensing device to recognize a high temperature or rapid increase temperature large buildings. Smoke and or heat are placed in buildings, spaces, and the ductwork and of air handling units. So ang smoke detector daw kay mo na siyang sensor device naga-detect siya sa sa combustion products in the air. And then ang heat detectors are sensing device naga-detect siya sa high temperature or a rapid temperature ga increase. A smoke or a smoke detector kay gina-install siya sa building area in the ductwork or of air handling units in the large buildings. Kay mo na mga makita na to sa mga dagko nga buildings. Mga ano ba, high-tech na. Fixed temperature heat detectors. Fixed, te- fixed temperature heat detectors signal and alarm after the temperature. Detector reaches a set value or a number of temperature designs are including what follows. Fusible alloy detectors that employ metal alloy designed to rapidly melt at a desired temperature. Bimetallic detectors, it is used sensing elements made of two strips of different metals, each having different thermal expansion coefficients. When the metallic strips are heated, the sensing element deflects, closing the contact and initiating an alarm. Electrical conductivity detectors have a sensing element in which resistance varies as a function of temperature. Fusible alloy kay naga-detect na siya sa metal alloy and naga-design siya to rapidly at a melt desired temperature. Namo na siya ang fusible alloy. And bimetallic detectors kay kasagaran siya sa sensing elements na nagamade siya of two strips different metals nang nadira ang thermal expansion coefficients. Kung ang metallic strips daw ay nagainit, ang sensing elements naga-deflect siya, closing the contact and initiating an alarm. And then the electrical conductivity detectors have a sensing element. Um, Naga-resistant siya as a function of sa temperatura. And then next is fixed temperature and heat detectors. Ang heat sensitive cable detectors consist of two carrying wires separated by heat sensitive insulation that softens at the rated temperature, thus alloy of the wire to make electrical contact. So, ang heat sensitive capable detector consist siya sa duha ka ginadala nga wire o nagaseparate siya sa by heat sensitive insulation. Thus, ang all of the wire daw kay mag electrical contact siya. And then the liquid expansion detectors have a sensing element comprising a liquid that expands with a increase in temperature. Okay, balik sa ta. Okay, ang liquid expansion detectors kay na siya sensing element gyapon. Naga-compress siya sa liquid na nagadako siya tungod sa temperatura. Okay, next is flame detector. Optically sense high levels of either infrared or IR radiation of or ultraviolet UV radiation. Combination of UV and IR detectors are also commercially available. A flame emits UV and IR radiation or the infrared in wavelength ranges that are not emitted by sunlight or artificial light. These detectors sense specific wavelength ranges of UV or IR radiation and send an alarm signal. Although the radiation travels in a straight line path, either the reflector will detect reflected ultraviolet or the infrared radiation of the wall, of floor and ceiling surface. Ang flame detectors daw kay nag-ascend siya sa high level sa infrared or ultraviolet radiation. Nag-combine siya also sa commercial sa to na available. And then although the radiation daw kay travel siya straight line path, either the reflector o naga-detect siya sa ultraviolet or the infrared radiation of the wall o siya sa kisame or ceiling surface rather. Okay, next is ionization smoke detectors. It is a design with a sensing chamber that has a radioactive element. The chamber has a two charged electrodes. The radioactive element charges the air within the chamber, which creates an electrical current between the electrodes. Smoke particles entering the sensing chamber change the electrical balance of the air. Ionization of smoke detectors respond first to fast flaming fire because of these fire produce invisible particles that less than 1 micron in size. Ionization alarms are best suited for rooms that contain highly combustible materials. So ang ionization smoke detectors daw kay nagadesign sa sensor chamber that na nasa radioactive element. Ang smoke particle daw sulod siya sa sensing chamber o naga-change siya og electrical balance tungod sa hangin. Ang ionization smoke detectors kay responde siya sa sugod og sa pinakapaspas nga kalayo kay tungod ang fire produced daw kay invisible particles that less than siya sa 1 micron in size. O kanang ionization alarms daw kay mo na ang recommend sa rooms contain og highly combustible materials. Muna siya ang gina-recommend. Nga na siya. Makita mo sa picture. The photoelectric smoke detectors. Photoelectric smoke detectors use a light scattering or light obscuration principle. They contain a light emitting diode or LED that is adjusted to detect a narrow infrared light across the unit's detection chamber. When smoke particles enter this chamber, they, inter they interfere with the beam and scatter the light. Photodiode monitors are the amount of light scattered within the chamber. When a present level of a light strikes the photodiode, the alarm is activated. So, ang photoelectric smoke detectors daw kay nagagamit siya sa light scattering or the light obscuration principle. Naga-contain siya og emitting diode og naga-adjust sa og naga-direct siya sa IR light og across siya sa detection chamber. Kung ang smoke particles enter this chamber daw kay interfere daw ang beam og naga-scatter ang light mo na siya. Okay, next is air sampling smoke detectors. Um, to light obscuration detectors, however, xenon tube is typically used a light source. Unlike conventional smoke detectors that passively wait for reach them. Air samples of continuously drawn to a sampling pipe network to the detection chamber. A filter assembly screens out large airborne dust particles. Once inside the detectors, the samples are exposed to a light beam that bounces light off small particles released by the combusting materials in a protected area. The scattered light is converted an electric signal and passed to the control system. So ang air sampling smoke detector daw kay similar daw na siya sa light obscuration tong giingon og ganiya sa isa tong sa to paretong sa tong bago na nag-mention. Ang xenon tube daw kay typically used as a light source. And then ang filter assembly screen at large airborne dust particles. Ang air sampling smoke detectors daw kay mo daw ng sample sa naga-expose sa light beam ug nagabound siya light off. Ug kung ga-scatter daw ang light kay ga-convert na siya og electronic signal ug nagapasa siya sa control system. Namo na siya ang pasabot sa air sampling smoke detectors. Air sampling technology as revolutionize the fire alarm industry allows for extremely warning the event of a fire. System designed to be 1,000 times more sensitive the standard of ionization photoelectric detection system. Yet the proper will not false alarm. So kamo ni siya ang yung controller sa sa to ni controller sa fire fire alarm basta katong gi-mention og ganiya nakalimot ako. And then the next is manual pull station. Manual pull station are lever-like devices mounted on a pole strategic places in a building that are connect to a building fire alarm control panel or directly to the municipal or a district fire alarm system. When the pull station lever is pulled, an alarm is sounded. So ang manual pull station daw kay lever-like devices mounted on the pole strategic rather. And then kung i-pull nimo ang pull station lever, ang alarm daw kay ga-sound kay mo na makita nito kasagaran, di ba? Sa fire alarm. Mara to. Okay. The alarm. The most common method alerting occupants during emergency is an audible evacuation signal delivered through bells, horns, chimes, buzzers, and sirens. Strobe light are also used in combination with the audible signals to ensure that the hearing impaired occupants recognize the needs to evacuate. Newer system used to voice commands to detect the occupants to evacuate the building. So ang alarm kay mo man ang pinaka-common kasagaran, di ba? Ko kay mo po nang pinakasaba jud. Ang ang purpose sa alarm daw kay naga-audible evacuation signal daw siya, naga-deliver siya sa bells, horns, schemes, buzzers, and sirens. Ang pinakabagong nga system daw use voice commands to direct the occupants to evacuate the building. Nang muna siya ang purpose sa alarm. Then the next is emergency voice communication system. An emergency voice communication system provides pre-programmed an emergency station situation. Initial voice messages are pre-programmed and are automatically transmitted to a speakers located throughout the building. Once the fire department and other emergency personnel access the situation, live instructions may be delivered to certain zones or floors of the building to instruct occupants, relocate occupants to aid fire department operation, or merely reassure remaining occupants their safe, safety during an incident. So ang emergency voice communication system kay mo na siya ang naga-provide sa pre-program recorded messages ug naga-instruction siya in a calming voice in an emergency situation. So kay mo nang maano nato dra. So makita nato sa mga dagko nga building. And then kung once daw ang fire department and other emergency personnel access the situation, ang live instruction daw kay naga-deliver siya in a certain zones or floor of the building to instruct occupants mo na siya. Ang remaining occupants daw kay of their safety during an incident. So kamo na gina ang importante sa emergency voice communication system. And then the next is emergency voice communication system can also provide a two-way communication subsystem. This subsystem enable responding firefighters and other emergency personnel to communicate throughout the facility using dedicated two-way communication phone lines with portable handset or emergency communication telephone stations provide in remote locations. So ang emergency voice communication system daw kay nag-provide na siya sa two-way communication. Ang two-way communication system daw or a subsystem kay naga-respond siya sa firefighters and other emergency personnel para ma-communicate niya ang facility using the two-way communication. Okay, next is the fire detection and alarm system. In a medium to large buildings and building complexes, a fire detection alarm system includes all some of the followings: a system control unit, a primary or a main electrical power supply, the secondary standby power supply, ginagamit siya sa batteries or emergency generator. Alarm initiating device such as an automatic fire detectors, manual station, pull station rather, and or sprinkler system flow devices connected to initiating circuit of system control unit. Alarm initiating devices such as automatic fire detectors. Nadoble pala. And then next, um, a fire command center is a remote panel of a set of panels connected to the fire system control panels. The command center contains the following: voice fire alarm system, panels and controls na mali siya. Fire department two-way communication service panels, telephone for outside communications, sprinkler valve and water flow status panels, smoke management controls, elevator location status panels, and annunciators, fire pump status panels, and the emergency generator status panels. Muna siya ang fire command center, fire command center. And then next is, okay, thank you. Humana day. God bless and have a great day, everyone.